Hey everybody, it's me Shane. I'm here to give you another Digimon Adventure 2020 episode review and recap. Today's episode is episode 53, the GEKO Hot Springs Revolution. Oh, I'm sorry, GEKO Hot Springs Revolt. Uh, as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I believe we just hit 100 subscribers, so thank you. Thank you to every last one of you. I will definitely do a video sometime this week whenever that number has solidified. But yeah, sorry if I seem low energy too. Got my second vaccination shot and I'm definitely feeling it. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. Remember, last episode we had Garudamon finally evolved to the Mega form Ho-Ho-Mon. Episode really where we didn't have an antagonist Digimon. It was really the environment that was the antagonist, which is something quite different and spectacular. Now, this episode we're focusing in on Joe wanting to take Hikari and Takaru and their Digimon, the Holy, the Digimon of Light, Patamon and Tailmon, to the hot springs so they can get revitalized because they're very low energy. They can't even Digivolve if they want to at this point. And as soon as they get there, they're in this snowy area all of a sudden. Uh, the hot springs all dried up. They're all gone. And they are now met with the Digimon with the Super Kabuki style, known as, well, Kabukimon. If you guys know anything about Kabuki theater, it's usually accompanied by this clacking sound and does all this. If you're a fan of Jiraiya from Naruto, I'm pretty sure you know how Jiraiya's theme and how Jiraiya goes. Let me read you a little insert about him. He's actually an armor level Digimon made from the Digimental or Digi Egg of Sincerity slash Purity. Um, that's Mimi's. If you remember from Digimon Adventure Season 2 or Digimon Adventure O2 or Season 2, it was Hawkmon that used that to turn into Shurimon. Shurimon is one of my favorite armor level Digimon, but it's read by Kabukimon. Kabukimon, armor level mutant Digimon, it has evolved through the power of the Digimental Purity. It has large flowers blooming from its head and hands and walks on 2 feet. It can usually absorb nutrients by planting both feet firmly on the ground while squatting and assuming a pose. Usually a plant for plant species, it dislikes being under the sun and instead only prefers to be hidden. It loves artificially illuminated spaces. It is characterized by its movements and an appearance that make it more noticeable, and even its behavior is gaudy. When it's behaving excitedly in the middle of battle, his method of striking a pose and treating it as a highlight scene possesses enough beauty to make his adversaries momentarily falter. His special moves are violently sweeping back and forth with his head, emitting a blinding, stinging light from the faces on its hands that knock out the opponent while they're fascinated with the beauty of the storm of its petals, and making a circle sharply with his head with his sharply tapered petals that can make a centrifugal force and pierces the opponent. That's called Sakura Fubuki and Renjishi. Funny enough, this Digimon can actually come from Tailmon if you use the Digimental Purity on it. And apparently Plotmon too, as a natural evolution. So, that's a really long encyclopedia for this time around. Give you another look at this guy. Very unique Digimon. Once they met him, he said, I'm going to lead you inside the mansion. We'll explain to you what happened to the hot springs. And around him were actually Gekomon. Now, you guys, if you're a fan of old Digimon, you recognize Gekomon. They probably never look this ugly because they usually have their tongues on the inside. But yeah, that's normally what these guys look like. And Gekomon are champion adult level Digimon, amphibian Digimon that charms those around it with a pleasant voice, and it's hard to imagine by looking at its bizarre appearance. The chords produced from the three holes in the tip of its tongue and the ab-libbing of the horn coiled around its neck allow it to control its opponent's emotions as it pleases. It's rumored to be born with one of the famous pieces written in music composition software. So it has become sort of a status symbol among the musicians of the world. Its special move is crushing the enemy from within with ultra high frequency known as Crush Symphony. And of course, these guys were in Digimon Adventure My goodness, Digimon Adventure Season 1, Queen Mimi, she's supposed to help them waking up their lord. But wait till you see this. Also, Kabukimon showed up during Cross Wars. This is, other than that, I don't remember where in Cross Wars it showed up, but this is, other than that, this is literally its first appearance in anime. To my knowledge, I don't remember where it showed up in that episode, but that's what I found in my research. Anyway, it tells the Gekomon to, Kabukimon tells the Gekomon to let them in. The mansion looks just like the mansion from the original Digimon Adventure when they were going to meet this Digimon that they're about to meet. Kabukimon was calls it a Shangri-La. There is even a snowman of this Digimon that is coming up, and all the water seems to be redirected to that area. And I quickly understood where this was going based on the appearance alone. And they are brought and told to bow before the Lord Tono Sama Gekomon. In English, this guy is known as Shogun Gekomon, which this is actually one of the better localization translated names, because Tono Sama Gekomon is a lot to say. There isn't too much about him in the regular reference books, but some of the picked up ones say he's an upgraded version of Gekomon. His antenna resembles a top knot from the Shoguns, and the two he has two horns on the side of him. The upgrade said to first have occurred in the karaoke grading system. It plays a melody from the two horns extending from the shoulders, and a singing voice, which is several octaves below that of Gekomon, imparts a feeling of lordly air and superiority. A special move is causing the enemy's configuration data to vibrate using the ultra low frequency waves of its vocals and its horns, destroying them with Kabushi tone. However, depending on the opponent, their physical condition may end up improving based on what's going on there. As I said before, the snowman in the front looked like Tono Samagekamon. In the season 1 of Digimon Adventure, Mimi was teasing the Gekomon that she would use her singing voice to revive him because he was kind of waking up, which he woke up because he found her voice to be repulsive. Haha. And he showed up again towards when the Dark Master showed up. He fell into the abyss, but he showed up again in Digimon Adventure 02, being controlled by the Dark Spirals. So, yeah, this is a Digimon. He's also shown up in Cross Wars. He showed up in Last Kizuna apparently. This is one of the OG Digimon in my opinion. Because there's no way there's no way you would forget this Digimon if you've seen the original Digimon Adventure. Anyway, uh, you know, they are shown that Tono-sama Gekomon is in this lordly hot spring, and when Joe and Gomamon try to run up there, Kabukimon stops them. The Tono-sama Gekomon is just doing his dumb laugh, and Kabukimon admits that they got rid of the other hot springs to give all of it to their lord. He wanted to have the hottest of the springs and didn't want to share this stuff. And Joe is getting mad is really mad at this. He's like, okay, why would you do that? And Gatomon wonders, okay, what was the point of you bringing us here? To which then Tono-sama Gekomon licks all of them with his long tongue and says that he likes Gomamon the most. Grabs Gomamon and says that Gomamon, who he now calls Ogoma, to be his bride, his cozy bride. And Joe gets a picture of it. So it looks so weird and so funny to see the Digimon's heads on top of human proportions. They have their Digimon hands, but they're on human proportions. And he's like, no, that's not gonna happen. We're not doing that. Which again, it's just he wants a cozy bride for his cozy hot spring. And Gatomon's kind of saying, I wonder if that Digimon didn't get the full data of something from the human world, because that's kind of off that you want to be a cozy shogun, the ultimate cozy shogun. Uh, Joe's like, I'm not having any of this. Runs for, and of course, the Kabushi tone of Togi-san Gekomon Sensing Flying. Tony-sama Gekomon is an ultimate level Digimon, guys. So yeah, this is our big bad antagonist. And Gomamon is just sad, like saying no the whole time because this guy is he's very serious, which is interesting to note that in it was mentioned Digimon Tamers, Digimon Season 3 by Renamon that technically Digimon don't have genders, but the forms associated with them more or less have genders. We've even seen Piyomon slash Biomons that have been male, like in the Japanese episodes. I believe in season 4, season Frontier, there was a male Piyomon, and in Digimon Sabers there was a male Piyomon. I think the only Piyomon slash Biomon that's been like a female has actually been Sora's and a few background characters. So, and I mean actual background characters, like ones in the background, like not speaking roles. So pretty interesting to know. It feels like kind of feels like almost a Pokemon thing, but this is definitely played up for the laughs that you expected to be played up for. So they're sent flying, literally flying from the castle. Uh, Takaru and Hikari help Joe out of the snow. He wants to make his way back and he trips on a familiar lump. Tailmon is able to get whatever's out of that snow out of it with one Neko punch, which kind of tires her out. But it turns out we got our 5 to 6 Nanimon and Blossomon in the snow. And Joe instantly recognizes them, and when asked, are these his friends? Well, technically they bullied him while he was in the hot spring, but he says even though they did that, it's still really wrong what's happened to them. The hot spring was their area, and they're sitting here freezing. And Joe, again, in his mind, he's pretty mad at this, so he rushes forward. Even in the middle of Takaru saying we should all probably warm up, Joe left his bag there and is rushing towards the castle with his book. And the Gekomon, we finally get their name in this part. But the Gekomon are kind of frowning because he's trying to make his way in and swing at them with the book. They use their horns to just shoot him again all the way back. But while he's being shot all the way back, he's going to fall and hurt himself this time. But riding in on Junkmon is Agumon, who catches Joe. Taichi has made it onto the scene. Uh, Meanwhile, Tony Samagekomon is drinking the hot spring water that rolls off of Gomamon. And Gomamon is just disgusted and freaked out. And, Tony Samagekomon is saying, your friends are probably frozen, solid by now. And Gomamon's holding on faith. He's shivering, not because he's scared, but because this is a gross situation that he's in. You have this giant digital creature, or this giant creature that is pushing himself on you and trying to kiss you, make you his bride. Whew. And Gomamon is going to try to be brave and try to wait this out and find a way to escape, but he gets grossed out again with that noticeably grossed out face. Taichi and Agumon are debriefed on what happened. Junkmon, because the Gekomons, they have this type of barrier, and Joe's trying to figure out how they can get through it. While we have Junkmon saying, just go ahead and crash through it, and Agumon is all for using Giga Destroyer. But we don't want to hurt Gomamon, so we got to find a way. And Tailmon so brilliantly says, why don't we just lure them out here? And Hikari gives her head pats. Of course, she blushes. She's a cat. She loves the head pats, but she doesn't really have an idea how to do it, but Joe does. Meanwhile, Gomamon is spinning on Tony Samagekomon's tongue and tries to kiss him again. And before anything can go further, Kabukimon falls into the bath, saying that there's another hot spring out there, and they're saying it's better than yours, and that it's the most cozy. So Tony Samagekomon's, we see like the other Digimon, the Nanimon and Blossomon, kind of in this hot spring, and Joe and the other chosen children with him are kind of playing it up, and the Digimon are kind of dancing about. We have Tailmon, who's completely embarrassed to be doing the acts of a child. Gotta remember, she is a champion slash adult level Digimon. So Tony Samagekomon is like, all right, we're gonna get ready to go and attack them. And they're making a bath to carry him in. The Gekomon are. And when Gomon's questioning is, Kabukimon says, well, our lord does not function very well in code. And even Tonosama Gekomon says, yeah, he gets his full power by sitting in a hot bath. And Gomamon instantly remembers that. Well, while they are marching down, they literally are marching down because at their side are these guys. These guys are Dodokomon, which is literally based on the drums, Japanese drums. They first showed up in Digimon Cross Wars. They're members of Cross Heart. They didn't have official level, but they are unofficially, unofficially known as Child Level Digimon. I believe that's from the devices they were in, the short-lived devices that were based on Cross Wars that weren't the Cross Loaders. It's quick read of its encyclopedia. Says it's a festival loving Digimon that will appear out of the blue when there's a commotion and the pound out of a heated rhythm. Okay, livening up the place. Its unique rhythm as well as its beats that will shake one's body to the core, stimulate the listener's nerves, and gets them completely excited. Although it's sure to get people fired up by its competitions, if by chance Dokomon, sorry, Don Dokomon show up at a brawl, it will definitely grow into a battle royale, which swallows up even the excited onlookers, causing catastrophe. Although its sole intention is to provide its support, once it sounds off as Dondoko Undo, which raises the tension between friend and foe alike, there isn't anything that'll settle the commotion. Anyone who interrupts the Dondokomon's performance will be punished with its special attack, Midoriuchi Rush, which fires shockwaves at random. Uh, I'm trying to find the etymology of its name. Dondokomon, which is a traditional Japanese form of music which use taiko drums. You guys probably remember the taiko games. I want to say from Bandai Namco. You see them in arcades if you go to arcades. Cute Digimon. I'm pretty sure this most of the cute Digimon that showed up in Cross Wars were child slash rookie level Digimon. This is a rookie level Digimon. I would love to see an evolution for this little cute musical guy that isn't a Gekomon, please. So, anyway, these things are on the side. They're, banging the drums. Junkmon can see them, signals to the others that they're on the way. Even Taichi says, hey, Joe, your plan is working. You're right. Gomamon is realizing that this is probably a plan that Joe came up with and tells Tonosama Gekomon, oh my lord, I want to get to that hot spring right now. Triggering him into this massive. Tonosama Gekomon is still as huge as he was in the original show. In Digimon Adventure 2020, a lot of the Ultimate level Digimons are way bigger than what they normally are. No, this guy's still massive. He's not War Greymon size. He's Metal Greymon size still. He's still really big and leaps clear over the mountain into this hot spring that they created. And while he complains that the water is lukewarm, he's asking how you're doing, Ogoma. And in his hands are not Gomon anymore. It is one of the Nanimon who, with his shades, winks and blows him a kiss, which makes him retch back. And he's wondering where the heck is Gomamon. All the Nanimon pop up, and he lashes them with his tongue. And we get a nice moment. I was trying to save it for you guys, but it wasn't popping up for me. Of where Gomamon is behind the lead Nanimon with shades on. Total Squirtle Squad. It looked really, really good. He throw the shades off and he's jumping towards Joe. Telling Sama Gekomon's going to use that tongue to grab him, but Blossomon blocks with its biting flower for a whip arm that it has. And Gomamon says, he knew, he had a feeling that this was a plan of Joe's, because even when Tonosama Gekomon jumped over, he locked eyes with Joe and knew what to do. uh, Meanwhile, before the forces can get to Tonosama Gekomon, Greymon and Taichi blocked the way. They're doing their supporting role of cutting off this army. And the funniest thing is they said they're going to attack him. One Mega Flare knocks all of the Dondokomon. They go spinning and spiraling just out of the shot. and a bunch of the Gekomon go flying back. So now they're going to do a one-on-one with Kabukimon. Gomamon then digivolves into Ikakumon, saying that I'm not your wife, I'm not your old Goma, I'm Joe's partner. But Tonosama Gekomon loves how fluffy Ikakumon is. In his eyes, we see what he looks like in his eyes. That's his fluffy, fluffy bride to be. And he pulls him in, is trying to get that kiss. Meanwhile, Greymon is fighting Kabukimon, who does the Renjishi attack that I read you guys earlier, spinning at high speeds its hair to try to uh, quickly attack Greymon. Greymon is fast with those hands because he's blocking everything, but his Mega Flare is blocked by Gekomon's sound waves. Four of them make a sound barrier, and the Mega Flare cannot get to Kabukimon. Meanwhile, Kakumon's trying to hold this guy off, but he uses his attack to make his hand slip, and he's just like saying, "Don't fight it." This is like, oh, I'm kind of surprised something like this would make it in 2020. I'm there's no way they would ever translate this because this is people want to cancel Pepe Le Pew, right? So probably wouldn't this probably wouldn't get through, but it's uncomfortably hilarious. We even have all the Digimon, the Nanimon are sickened. Blossomon is retching back. Tailmon has covered Hikari's eyes, and Patamon is just like, ooh, it's just like they're all like, this is really gross. And the animation for this entire episode, while not crappy, has been played up for much laughs. I wish I would have saved the screenshot I took of when Greymon was knocking away the attack because we see Taichi, but we don't see Taichi's mouth. So they drew it decently enough. I guess they weren't expecting anybody to freeze the frame. But anyway, Joe says that since they can't force him out of the hot spring because Ikakuma spilled the beans quickly, just say, hey, here's the power from the hot spring. Instantly gonna tell on this how we could beat this guy. Ikakuma fires a harpoon Vulcan once Joe tells him to at the top where the rest of the snow is to try to cool the bath that he's in. And Tonosama Gekumon's like, man, you see, you stop it. It's really cold. Joe says, by the way, this isn't really a hot spring. It's just we just tricked you to make it look like one. And we do get to see the process of them putting down the rocks and putting down the water. And it went from Agumon to Greymon to Metal Greymon to Giga Storm to warm up this water, which is effectively just a puddle, according to Joe. So Joe tells the others, hey, pour more snow in here. Junkmon and the Nanimon do their job, freezing him and weakening Tonosama Gekomon. Ikakumon turns into Zuluman. Now he has those hard body muscles. Tonosama Gekomon's kind of not feeling them, and doesn't matter. He uses his he's ready to use his hammer on him, but we also get a full sequence for Zuluman. It looks really really good. But he uses his hammer to pour more snow on him to freeze him. Greymon turns into Metal Greymon. We don't get his full sequence, but we get enough of it to where he uses Giga Destroyer. And as the Gekomon try to use the barrier, 4 isn't enough, 6 isn't enough, 8 of them isn't enough. The Giga Destroyer breaks through that sound barrier, knocking the Kabukimon into the water, the freezing water, with Tonosama Gekomon. And as they're looking up at Zudamon, they're offering to give half of the hot spring. And Joe's like, no, hot springs are for everybody. They're to warm your body and your heart. No, we're going to take this back for everyone. Zudamon uses the Vulcan's hammer to electrify them. They're not destroyed. They're not dead. They're just shocked and knocked out. And of course, Zudamon mocks the Kabuki style. The hot springs are back. It's now warm water, warm hot spring water for everyone. And Joe even invites Tonosama Gekomon and Kabukimon and the rest of the Gekomon. There's enough room for everybody. And they're surprised. He's saying, I told you, this is for everybody. I'm not going to stop you from using it. And then they call Joe. Joe is not no longer leader. He is now Lord. He is the Lord of that Lord. And as we're panning out, everyone's enjoying the hot spring. All of the the Chosen One's partners are enjoying the hot spring, especially Tailmon and Patamon. We do see Joe's device glowing. And that's the end of the episode. The encyclopedia is Tony Samba Gekomon. Apparently, like I read earlier, the low dose of tone of that attack could actually heal people. Um, Koshiro wants it to heal his stiff shoulders from working on the computer. Next episode is going to be Rebellionmon, who is a newer Digimon from the Pendulum Z. Taichi and Greymon are in this lawless land, and apparently there's a Digimon that's trying to take care of all the lawlessness. That Digimon looks like an evolution of Ogremon. It looks like an ultimate evolution. I really hope that this is actually a reborn Ogremon. That is just my hope. The animation for the preview looks amazing. And now, yeah, that's the episode. I have to give this one. I enjoyed watching it, but this is kind of average. You know, it didn't really. The one thing I appreciate that it goes back to a thing that Joe went through, and we, expand upon. Okay, well now he has a better relationship with those Digimon that were bullying him. This is what happened to Air. You feel like the world is, actually alive, and the things that have happened in this world. At the most, I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 3.5 to a 4. I teeter between those two because they went back. That's kind of a cool thing. I'm not a solid 4. Pardon me, because Joe didn't get his mega form. Kind of waiting on that now, but it's really interesting that the evolution from Ikakumon to Zuluman is way better done than Togemon to Lilymon and Bergermon to Garudamon, even Garudamon into Hohomon. The Zuluman evolution is amazing. We see everything that goes into that, and I love it. So, a comedic episode. If you don't like your comedy in your anime, sorry. There was a lot of parts I laughed on this. I understand the PC-ness of today's era, but there was a lot. There's parts in this that if you chill out and take yourself out of it, there are parts of this that are actually very funny. Not tons of consequence for the overall story, which is why I'm between a 3.5 and a 4. Not awful, not horrible, but not episodes 50 and 51. That's not episodes 50 51, that's for sure. Actually, not episodes 49 and 50. That is for 49, 50, and 51. That is for sure. But it's okay. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this episode? How'd you feel with the comedic animation? Animation was still on point, but still really funny. Uh, I really do want to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos like this. I do these Digimon videos every Sunday for you guys. Please remember to share the video so other people can see what a great time and a great discussion we're having. Thank you for your time. As always, please be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear a mask, Black Lives Matter, and I will definitely see you next time.